everybody, this is a video demonstration of the art project, an administrator's guide to using Jira for Business. Today's topics are going to be access and permissions, field management, the shortcuts menu, and watchers and automation. So first up, we're going to talk about access and permissions. First, you need to go to the One Support ticket for Jira for Business. I keep it in my favorites, so clicking into my favorites and then Jira for Business. If you want it in your favorites, just click on the heart to turn it purple and it will show up in your favorites. So this is what I do for people who want to join Jira. First, I put their name in. I'm going to use Devrim as an example. Scroll down, so type Devrin's name in requested, scroll down. Under here, you want to select the Jira for Business access for Sanofi emails. So this will work for anybody who has a Sanofi email address. That includes contractors because they do have a Sanofi.com email address. Click Next, scroll down, and the type you want is add access to Jira for Business, and then the justification I would put in here is Devrim will be working on the art project, and I always add Rebecca Grenke is the project lead. Click Yes, and there's no other additional information. Once you hit Submit, it will need to be approved by Devrin's manager, and as you can see, we have it right here. It will need to be approved by Devrin's manager, and then it goes over to the Jira team, and then they approve it. At that point, you will be able to come over into the art project, and we landed on the board. You want to go up here, click Project Settings, go to Access, and then you would just go ahead and add them once they would show up. So when it doesn't show up, you don't see her email address. When you know it's available, you will see her email address. So that's when you can add them. Some more information about access. If you need to look up somebody, you can do that. Let's say I want to look up Vanina. There she is right there. And you can see Vanina is a member. Let's manage our roles. This will just give you definitions of what all the roles are. So we have administrator, and they can do anything within the art project, including configuring fields and adding members. You can be a member, and these people can add J cards, edit J cards, collaborate on the work. They cannot delete a J card. The only person that can delete a J card is an administrator. And I rarely do it, only in the case where there's been duplicates or the labeling strategist has asked me to delete it because they made a mistake or they don't need it anymore. And then you have member, that's all the labeling strategists. And then you have viewer. I use viewer for somebody like Matthias or even Andrea, even Devrim. They will all become a viewer because this person can look at the J cards and they can even comment on them. However, they can't change the J card. And frankly, I think that's the safe bet for anybody who is not actually working in there as a member. So now we're going to move on to field management. Field management you can find under issues. Now here you'll notice we have three different types of issues. The first one is the lit project, product work, and transversal work. What I'm going to show you will apply to all three types because it's basically on how to edit the fields. Where we'll go is we'll start with the lit project. So on the lit projects, you'll notice you have a drop down for the projects. You can come in here and you can add a new project. And you can also move this. I have them in alphabetical order, so you're able to move it. And remember, whenever you make an addition, you're going to always see save changes. If you close this window and do nothing, it will not save this change. So I've done it a lot. Just be aware when you think you did it, it's probably because you forgot to click Save Changes. And then, of course, if you want to delete something, you just click on this. Let's go to product work. So product work, I'd like to explain something to you. So in the past, we actually had the initials here, RB, D, RD, and we decided to spell out rare blood disorders. When I did that, it actually broke one of my filters up here because we changed the name of the GBU. So you have to be careful with that you don't change information that is already in here because it could be linked to a filter, and then somebody would have to go and correct that filter. You actually would not know until you get to that filter. So just be very careful, and I don't expect that you will be changing anything that has already been established. I only expect that you would be updating something. Understand if an item is used and you delete it, that could cause an issue also. The other field I want to say, please just don't add anything. Make sure you speak to the core team about it, is the type of update. This field has been discussed and agreed upon. There was group conscience in creating these selections in your dropdown. So please do not change them. If you have a question or want to understand it, please reach out to Sheetal, Irvi, or Francisco, and they'll be able to help you understand this better. The other place that you may need to add a project or a project lead would be under the transversal work. I've had people recently asking me to add a project, and you'll see the lit projects go in top. So if you have to add a lit project, make sure you alphabetically move it to the top, and then all other projects that are being worked on, transversal work I'll say, is going to be here. And this would be a place that you would add one. Make sure you throw it into the order that we have. I'm keeping other at the bottom. The next field that you want to look at is going to be the project lead field. And in this field, you'll notice it is not a people field. This is an actual drop-down field. See how this says people? This is an actual drop-down field. And so you would need to add, and why we have a drop-down field for this is because some of the people that are in here are not in JIRA yet. So we needed to make sure that we put them in here as names. As time moves forward, we may change this field to a people field, but I don't think it's necessary for the transversal work. Another area that should not be edited in product work is the description field. This description field was discussed with the core team and the TA heads and agreed upon. So if anything needs to change here, please contact somebody from the core team and discuss it, the reason, and they'll work with you on that if it's necessary before I return. Okay, I think the next thing we can move to is the watchers. So let's go out to the board and I'll explain that to you. If you click on a card and you look up here, this is called the watchers, watch options. And if I click in there, you'll see I have SEMA, and that is only because I have a general medicine GBU. And there is an automation that runs that adds SEMA to all general medicine. And the same for all other TA heads. We're going to go review that in a second. First, I'd like to show you that administrators are allowed to add watchers. If you are a member, you cannot add a watcher except for yourself. So as a member, you'd have to go into the card, go up to watchers, and click your name. In this case, we have automation adding SEMA, but let's say we want to add somebody else to this card. I can just click here and type Marie's name, and now Marie is added as a watcher here. So any updates made to this card will go to her, understanding that she set up her notifications to accept when there's an update to a card she is watching, and so forth. So if you need to remove anybody, you just go ahead and let your mouse roll over, click the X, and click the X. And then that's it. Let's go see how watchers are added to cards automatically. Click on project settings, and where I'm going, I do not expect you to change or touch anything. I just want to make you aware of it. So right here, you'll notice that we have general medicine, adding SEMA as a watcher. I actually named these rules to work like that for Andy. And then come down here and we have Jimmy as a watcher on lit projects, anything created under the lit for all statuses. And then of course, these are for Vanina and Paragi. And Sophie, almost forgot about Sophie. So these will do that. Right now they're on a weekly. I'm going to change them, be updated, and check the cards every 4 hours. The last place I'd like to show you is going to be our shortcuts menu. So I'll just hop back to the board to get out of the automation area. And so under the shortcuts menu, you'll see we have some basic information for Jira for Business. We have the art project dashboard. I put that here because to see it under the green, you'd have to actually make it a favorite. Then we have our field guides, which are residing in our project files in the art project under Teams. And then we also have a video here on how to create a J card. We can add any shortcut we want. If we click in here, you can see it's simple. You just have to add the link and then name it as you wish. And I do use emojis to call out certain things. What's going to go here, a great example, is going to be our self-selection product off-limit list. And that's it. That wraps up everything I wanted to share with you guys. Thanks. Have a great day.